Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to an all-new reaction and review. Tonight, guys, I'm checking out a family film from 2007. That movie is Alvin and the Chipmunks. Now, a little bit of background about me and Alvin and the Chipmunks. Back in the 1980s, Alvin and the Chipmunks had made a little bit of a comeback with a new animated series. And when I was a kid, I actually kind of liked that show. Granted, the show hasn't aged the best at all, and a lot of the episodes now are borderline unfucking watchable, but when I was a kid, the shows weren't too bad. I never really thought much about Alvin and the Chipmunks since then, until this recent run of live-action movies hit. And I saw the trailer for this first one and wondered what the fuck anyone was thinking when they made it. Now I finally get to see if it's really as bad as the trailer made it out to be. I'm certainly hoping for this movie to be decent because somebody sent in the first three, and for the sake of completeness, I bought the fourth one. No, I don't know why I bought the fourth one. I guess I just like to suffer that fucking much. But I'm not going to worry about the fourth one yet. I don't even know if I'm going to get to the fourth one. I got to get through these first. And more importantly, I got to get through the first one first. I have no idea if this thing's going to be any good at all. The only way I'm going to find out is if I shut up and I push play. And I'm going to do that right now. So, without further ado, it's time to kick back, relax, and check out Alvin and the Chipmunks. Alright, I have a bit of a dumb question. How the hell, if these chipmunks have lived in the forest their entire lives, how the hell do they know about credit ratings and all this other shit? How the hell can wild animals who have spent their entire life in the woods know how to crack all of these various references? I understand, guys, that it's trivial. I understand that it's stupid. But it doesn't make a lick of sense for these fucking rodents to know any of this, and it's just kind of bugging me a touch. Oh my god. They've taken one of the few original songs the Chipmunks ever performed, and they're horribly raping it, man. The song isn't even that good in the first place. But you know, with all the pitch shifting and auto-tuning in the world, this is the best they come up with. God, this is fucking horrible, guys. Fuck this song. Alright, I'm really curious, what the hell is up with the whole Chipmunks' obsession with waffles? With toaster waffles? Like, that seems to be like the only thing that they've eaten since they discovered them in Dave's house. I understand, guys, that toaster fucking waffles are good, but there's a time and a place, and they just seem to be unhealthily obsessed with it. So they turned Witch Doctor into this. Jesus Christ. I hate this, guys. This movie's had some really good moments, but for fuck's sake, every time it dives into music, this movie goes to shit. Like, instantly. God, this is hideous, guys. Is this movie really trying to, show Alvin and the Chipmunks on tour? Selling out large venues with thousands of people? Thousands of people paid money to watch a bunch of rodents about yay big dance around on stage and sing. Past the first couple of fucking rows, nobody's going to be able to actually see something this big on stage. In fact, shit, you'd probably have a hard time seeing anything from the second row. Who the fuck could buy tickets to see that? Again, guys, I know, it's a trivial, stupid thing, I shouldn't fucking worry about it much, but it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make sense for the Chipmunks to fucking tour if they're only this goddamn big, and you're selling out venues with thousands of seats. It just doesn't look right to me, man. Well, guys, that was Alvin and the Chipmunks, and we're closing with Post-credit bullshit. Don't care. Shut up. Okay, moving on. Alright. So, where to start with this one? I'm gonna start actually with casting, which is a very weird thing. I know. I rarely ever talk about casting. But this movie made it a point of getting nameable talent to voice Alvin, Simon, and Theodore. Well, at least two nameable talent. I've never heard of the jackass who plays Simon. Alvin is played by Justin Long, who, as some of you know, I have a very long history of not liking, because the man can't act and the man isn't funny. I'll get to that in just a sec. Theodore's played by Jesse McCartney, who I guess was like a pop singer or some such shit. I've heard of the name. That's all I can really say about that. My question is, why cast nameable talent if you're going to pitch shift their voices to the point where they are unrecognizable? What I mean by that is, you could have cast anybody as the Chipmunks and they would have sounded exactly the same. You could have cast me as all three, you could have pitch shifted my voice and it would have sounded the same. Hell, I would probably have given a livelier performance than Justin Long or the guy who played Simon. Jesse fucking McCartney was okay as Theodore, I can at least say that much. But still, you could have cast anybody in there, you could have pitch shifted the shit out of their voices, and you would never have known the difference. So, that's like my big question with casting is, why blow the money on nameable talent when you can't tell if it's really them in the first place? In fact, I'm going to assume that they had studio fucking singers sing all of their songs, and because those sound identical to the actors, that once more shows. That shows even more that you didn't need nameable talent. You could actually have taken your studio singers and have them voice the fucking Chipmunks, and it wouldn't have changed a goddamn thing. That I know is a minor thing. It's pointless little quibble, but it's something I was wondering, because if you could have gotten like no-name talent to voice the Chipmunks and have the exact same result, it would have saved you a ton of money in terms of actually paying for a cast. But you see, that was me worrying about budget. I don't even know what the fuck the budget on this movie is. Moreover, I really don't much care. It's just a point that was kind of bugging me a touch. Now, let's talk about writing. Do you guys remember when I reviewed Gem and the Holograms and I talked about that same old, tired, cliched story involving new singers or new bands being found and, you know, breakups and corrupt fucking douchebag record heads and all this other shit? Exact same story. 100% the same story, just with better acting and marginally better songs. That's not saying much considering the bullshit that was in Gem and the Holograms, but still, it's the exact same tired, worn-out story. I guess the plus side is that since they've hammered out this thing in this film, at least now we can hope for more fucking original shit in the sequels. I don't know. I'll find out a little later on this month. Now, outside of the tired and cliched storyline this movie decided to go with, I am able to comment on a few things. Number one, I was kind of surprised at the fact that there were moments in this movie where I was actually smiling. They actually had jokes in this movie that made me kind of sort of giggle a little bit. I'm not going to, you know, sugar fucking coat this, guys. At times the writing's really fucking good. In fact, hell, for most of this, the writing is amazing, at least on the level of family, you know, films. The writing here is awesome. There are moments that are going to make you smile. There are moments that are going to make you laugh. There are even moments that were a little bit fucking touching. There are these like bonding moments between Dave and the Chipmunks that are written so well, and they work. Which my mind was fucking blown, because I thought this was going to be some soulless turd, and then I started actually feeling good about the movie. There were moments that made me, you know, that actually kind of sort of touched me a little bit and were kind of sweet. I was not expecting that. However, for every funny bit and for every sweet moment, the movie kind of balances that with some absolutely horrific jokes or terrible references or things that just don't make a lick of sense. So, do you guys want to know the origin of Simon's glasses? Because I will tell you. Dave notices that Simon isn't able to catch a flying toaster fucking waffle, because apparently the chipmunks are completely addicted to toaster, waffles for whatever reason. One of them went flying out of a toaster. It was coming right at Simon. He missed it. So Dave decides to fix it by pulling a pair of glasses off of a Santa decoration that was sitting on the counter, and sort of puts it on Simon's eyes. And what do you know? Those plastic glasses, which were just a part of a general Santa fucking ornament, just happened to be the perfect prescription for Simon. No, guys, it doesn't make any fucking sense, and I really wouldn't fucking expect it to. And then when evil fucking record, douchebag Ian gives Simon a pair of hipper, trendier glasses, which look exactly like the douche fucking specs that Ian himself wears, what do you know? They don't fucking work, because I guess maybe it's because the Santa glasses were like powered by the love of Dave's family, like familyness or some such shit. I don't know. It's never fucking explained. And it's those little things. It's little fucking details that just fucking irk me or just sort of, irritate me a bit. And the fact that the Chipmunks have spent their whole time in the fucking woods. There is no hint that they know anything about the modern world, and yet they can talk about credit ratings and muffins and a bunch of other shit that generally a wild animal would probably have no fucking knowledge of. And again, those are, minor things, though those are usually fucking like one-off, lines, but they just irritate me because they don't make any sense with the way that the story itself was laid out and set up. I commented on the whole tour thing, and they actually showed the kickoff of the Chipmunks World Tour at the end of the movie. So the Chipmunks, again, are all only about yay big, are standing on top of what looks like a little plastic drum fucking set. They've got cameras pointed at them with gigantic monitors above them showing the Chipmunks singing and dancing and this and this and this. So people are paying tons of money to go see the Chipmunks live, and again, if you're past like the first couple of fucking rows, you're not even going to be able to see them. So then you got to look up at the monitors. You're paying exorbitant amounts to go to a concert and effectively watch TV. I'm going to tell you right now, as much, guys, as going to a major fucking concert kind of sort of sucks when you are up in the nosebleeds and you can't tell who's who on stage, at least you can see them. At least it's still an awesome fucking experience. This just doesn't feel logical to me, and the movie's trying to play it up as the most sensible thing on the planet, and that any fucking idiot will go and pay to see it because it's talking chipmunks. Which Ian even points out when the Chipmunks kind of sort of discover that they have to fucking lip sync. When Dave mentions that they basically have destroyed their careers by publicly showing that they were fucking lip, syncing, Ian goes, "It's talking chipmunks. People will pay to see talking chipmunks." So, it's like little logical shit that just doesn't quite work. But still, guys, as much as I can dump on just a bunch of little fucking shit that just sort of irritates me, the writing here isn't terrible. The writing isn't perfect, but it has enough moments that work that I can't really slam it too much. The movie is still functional, and I was not expecting that. I honest to God thought I was walking into complete shit. And I wasn't. I was in terms of music. I'll get to the music in a fucking minute. Let's touch on the acting. I've already kind of mentioned how, barring Jesse fucking, what's-his-face, McCartney as Theodore, our other two chipmunk actors suck. Part of that is because, again, I'm not a fan of Justin fucking Long, and the man has never put a lick of effort into anything he has ever done, and that shines through here. And even when you have to pitch shift him so high, he still comes off as this smarmy dickhead that basically is Justin Long's default personality, no matter what the fuck he's playing. And as for the guy playing, Simon, he just didn't sound like he cared. He didn't sound like he gave a shit to be there, and his entire performance kind of suffers because of it. Now, I mentioned that Justin fucking Long's, like, default is just being a smarmy dick. Same thing can be said about the man who plays Ian, because Ian is played by David fucking Cross, and David Cross only knows how to play smarmy douchebags. So they cast him perfectly, and he does an amazing job here. The other person I can say absolutely shines is Jason Lee as Dave. That was fucking amazing. But you see, Jason Lee is like the polar opposite of Justin Long, because where Justin Long doesn't fucking try and shouldn't be cast in anything, Jason Lee puts 110% into everything he fucking does, and it shows. And the man can be cast as pretty much anything, and he will do whatever the fuck it takes to make it work. So putting him in there works amazingly. So we do have that. I do have one comment though about David Cross's performance. At one point, he has to handle the Chipmunks and like jam them into a pet fucking carrier. Now, I understand that you have to think about how the shot is going to look when they put the digital chipmunks in. But when you're holding them by the tail and they're all just sort of hanging there, and he's sort of like doing this as if they're trying to struggle out, but there's no struggle in the chipmunk model, which is more, I think, the fault of the animators, but they could have at least had the chipmunks like struggling or like wiggling or trying. So the chipmunks are all dangling, and there's barely any movement there. Cross is like going like this, and he's trying to pretend as if he's got 3 really pissed off, struggling chipmunks in his fucking hand, and it looked really terrible. But that is only half his fault because he was really over fucking doing the shake from the struggle, but also because of the animation. I will get to animation in just a moment. The rest of our cast also turned in a really good showing. The only people who sucked were 2/3 of our fucking chipmunks, man. You know, and it's like the 2/3 who pretty much have the most lines, because Theodore is just there to essentially, you know, go, oh, family, we are all family, and I love Dave, yada yada yada, ooh. And Theodore's got one of the real touching scenes with Dave that was very well, you know, written. But at least Jesse McCartney tried, and I had no hope in him. The other two, well, I didn't know about the dude playing Simon. Just a lick of effort would have been amazing, but there was none. And yeah, anyway, I'm not going to dwell on acting more, else it's going to turn into a huge tirade about how much I can't stand Justin fucking Long and how I wish people would stop casting him in shit, because the man has all the talent of a common household sponge. Anyway, let's jump onward to music, because this movie is very musically focused. The Chipmunks, for what it's worth, are known for 2 songs. Those songs are the Chipmunks song, which is their famous Christmas number, and Witch Doctor, which wasn't even a Chipmunks song when it was first done, but it has since been thrown into the Chipmunk catalog. Now, the Chipmunks song, they basically just modernized it a little bit, but it's still the same basic song, just with shittier vocals on the part of the Chipmunks. For fuck's sake, if you're sitting there and you're pitch shifting the fuck out of these voices, this here's like the one time that auto fucking tuning would probably have helped, because it wouldn't have been as noticeable. But they didn't bother, and it sounded terrible. And as for Witch Doctor, you know, guys, Witch Doctor was a catchy little fucking novelty song when it first came out. To turn it into a hip-hop song? No. Fuck, why? And that is probably the worst song in the entire film, is the horrendous version of Witch Doctor that appears in this fucking movie. Now, the Chipmunks sing maybe about 3, possibly 4 other songs over the course of the film. And those aren't terrible, but they also really aren't anything special. I really thought I'd have more to fucking rail on with, you know, the songs and the song choice and the singing. But really, it's just that they could have sung better on the Chipmunks song, and fucking Witch Doctor was an absolute musical abortion. I really can't say much else about music. Special effects. Let's touch on special effects. The only real special effect that this movie has and utilizes often is our 3 titular chipmunks, and for most shots, they look awesome. In fact, I'm going to tell you guys right now, our fucking CG chipmunks look amazing. And I could once more go into the shot where Ian's got him, like, by the fucking tail. They're all dangling downwards, and he's struggling like this, but there's no effort on the part of the animator to make it look like the chipmunks are struggling, unless they have the strength of five fucking men in their fucking tails, and that's why David Cross had to overact with the arm. I don't know the strength of chipmunk tails, let's just be straight on that. But, you know, besides that one shot, pretty much everything else here with the chipmunks looked awesome. In fact, I will say that out of everything I thought was going to come from this, I really wasn't expecting the CG to be that good, because I remember in, like, the first, like, teaser fucking trailer, the CG looked kind of shit. But they cleaned it up a lot when they went to the final film, so that is amazing. Awesome shit, just one questionable shot. The only other special effect which gets used a lot is during driving scenes, especially with Dave and his beat up fucking car, they use real basic chroma key for the background as he's, you know, driving, and it looks fine. It is noticeably chroma keyed in, but oh well, that honest to God is something that only a fucking weirdo like me notices, so it's no big fucking deal. Our camera work here is really good, our sound mix here is awesome, our lighting here is fine. Ultimately, guys, am I able to recommend Alvin and the Chipmunks? If you have kids, certainly. Your kids are gonna love this thing. It is a fantastic family film. It is totally worth checking out if you have kids. In fact, fuck, guys, this thing actually is totally worth at least checking out once. Because I will probably never watch this thing a second time, but I'm totally happy to have seen it a first time. This thing is worlds better than I thought it was going to fucking be, and that absolutely shocks me. I really thought I was just walking into a big pile of dog shit the moment I hit play. And the movie was actually competently done. If you can look past the fact that the storyline is ridiculously cliched and 2/3 of our chipmunks don't know how to fucking act, and a handful of the jokes and references are going to fall totally flat, if you can look past those few flaws, what you have here is a really watchable movie, and that I was not expecting that. So yeah, if you guys see this thing on TV, check it out. If you can find it on Netflix, give it a watch. To buy it, I really don't know. I would say definitely rent it first before you full-blown commit to a purchase. I would say at least rent it or download it somewhere. Just, you totally have to give it a watch before you buy. This thing is not really something I would say rush out and buy this instant. It's certainly good, but it's not that fucking good. Now, Alvin and the Chipmunks came off the Amazon wish list. The person who sent it in was, hang on a sec, I actually have this written down because it's someone new. It's Kim Daniel. You can find Kim Daniel's Instagram page at instagram.com/KimJ1990. Kim, or is it Kim? I mean, now do you go by Kim or do you go by Kim Daniel? Not totally sure. But dude, thank you. I'm going to assume a dude because the avatar on the Instagram page is a guy. If I happen to be wrong, please by all means correct me. But dude, thank you. I was kind of curious about this thing, and not only did you send it in, but you sent in the first 3. That's awesome. That gives me 2 more episodes to check out. I'm hoping for the next one to be as good, but that subtitle on the next one is just making me cringe just thinking about it, so I'm not going to look at that right now. But still, dude, I thank you for it. This thing turned out a fuckload better than I thought it was going to. And I would not have known that if you hadn't sent it in, and for that I thank you. You're fucking awesome. Once more, that is instagram.com/KimJ1990. I will provide a link for you guys. Swing over there, check out anything and everything that Kim Daniel has. I had to look it up again, terribly sorry. And once more, dude, I thank you. Now, you know, There was a Chipmunk movie made. Was it late 80s or was it early 90s? Doesn't matter. I do have it on Blu-ray because I do remember that movie being really, really decent. At least as a kid. It's been quite a few years since I watched it. I kind of feel like watching some more fucking Chipmunks. I think I'm gonna go and watch that and see if it's as good as it was when I was a kid. Anyway, guys, with that, we come to the close of another reaction and review. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care, and I will see you all in the near future. Peace.